comes with a different file called CMP file. Lightning comes with a different file called CMP file, helper file, and helper.js. Let me create a component that would be easy to explain. 24 hours old. New Lightning component. Let's say demo CMP. See, here we have component configurations, right? These are the interfaces. In Visualforce, what we have? We have two types of controllers, right? Standard controller and custom controller, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is standard controller? All your S objects. If you
Yes.
implement your standard controllers, then only you can override. Then only you are allowed to override your object page layouts, array buttons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, for when it comes to the Lightning, we do not have such controllers. We have only one controller called server controller, which is nothing but your Apex classes, So you can write a component for anything, you can override based on the interfaces. If you want to create a tab for this component, you need to implement the interface called Lightning tab. Else, otherwise, I need to add it to as a application page. Then I need to implement Lightning page. If I want to implement this as a record detail page in the page layouts, that time I need to implement record page. Else, if I want to use in a communities, that time I need to use community pages. Otherwise, if I want to add for a quick actions like a buttons and all this, then I need to implement the interface called quick action. For now, I am implementing this Lightning tab. Okay. This is an introductory component for Lightning communications. Here in the right side you can see, right, like demo component, you have component, controller, helper, style, documentation, render, design, SVG, isn't it? Component is the one where your HTML will go. Component is nothing but wherever your UI language like HTML or Aura, whatnot, for user interactive data will go inside component. Controller is nothing but a client-side validator or a client-side business actions can be performed. Whenever user clicks a button, I need to execute some action. Then I need to call my controller. What helper will do? Helper is a reusable method. Whatever the method you will gonna write in the controller, which cannot be reusable. But if I want to implement my functionality as a reusable, then I need to write for a helper. Both are JavaScript only. Style, with the name itself, we know that this is for CSS, right?
Yep.
Documentation is something you are writing this component because Lightning component is based upon the events, right? So there is no physical connection. What we can do here, we can document, hey, if I pass this ID here, it will gonna work like this. If I pass like this, then it will work. Like a documentation about your component usage. Rendered means, however, in Visualforce we have, right, rendered, re-rendered, isn't it? Rendered will, whenever if you want to do a custom rendering, that time you need to use rendered. Else, we have a conditions available directly within the component, like Aura if condition. The way we have a render there, here we have Aura if. Okay.
Yeah.
Design in the sense, as we are saying, right? Let me go to this page. Let me go to the one account. Let me open up one account. Edit page. If I am dropping, like say, if I drop a Visualforce page here, if I drag and drop Visualforce page here, this is called design. The way we are gonna get here, account display. Here we are getting, right, which Visualforce page name you needed, right?
Yes.
So label is a title and Visualforce is the page name. So this is nothing but the design. I mean, now I am configuring account, I can display account display. If I am doing it from other pages, I can select the other Visual Force page, right?
Yeah.
Which is nothing but a design. So which helps you to configure your values dynamically the time you are adding to a page layouts. That is called design. SVG is something, why we need SVGs? SVG is not for Lightning, it actually exists. Let's say if I want to load my logo or a banner images which are standard in my page, what we can do, we can encode this as a SVG file and we can upload as a static resource so that it will not take time to load. I mean, even in a slow internet connection, it would be very easy to a system to download the file. Okay.
Yeah.
So all it will convert your, like a, right, image files can be converted as a binary files. You can convert image files to binary files, right? Let me say SVG online converter. Online image SVG image converter. Okay. So here I need to choose a file. Let's say I'm choosing like, okay, start conversion. Okay, this is SVG file. Now it is trying to download. Open, show in folder. Now you can see the same image will be converted as a SVG, black and white, which is the image only. I can able to edit this. You can see open with Sublime Text. This is how it will convert your image file. You can see the numbers, right? Everything minus 23 and everything, right?
Yeah.
This is how it will convert. So system will understand how to decode as a picture. Loading a text data is very easy than that, right? Let's say going back, what's the file size here? We are getting 12 KB, right?
Yep.
Pictures. Here 43 KB. There is a big difference. If it is like a 2 MB, 3 MB also, the file size will come to 12 KB, 13 KB only. So you will be having the same quality of data, I mean same quality of image, but with a less size. Okay. Clear? What is SVG means? SVG for to improve your performance. I mean, instead of keeping a more big page, you can make it as a simple with the same options. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, how about lightning communication? How about lightning communication? Let's say it's very hard to use this. Okay. Okay. The lightning communication will go like this. Let's say you have a component here. This is your CMP. Okay. This is your component. The component will call your server controller. The component will call your client controller, controller.js. And then you can call your server. And then you will call your server. The communication will be like this. The communication will be like this. Whatever user is performing any action, first you need to call controller.js and then you need to call your server. Now server can respond back to your controller and then controller will respond to component and then controller will respond to component. This is one way of communication. Here the concerns for us is whatever you write in the controller.js, which these are not, if you write anything in the controller.js, this cannot be reusable. This cannot be reusable functionality. Now, if I want to make as a best practice, a best component which can be reusable, then I need to change my communication pattern little bit. The best way of communicating component is CMP component, and then it need to call your c.js, and then it will call your helper, and then you need to call your server. Now, the important server can directly pull back to your component controller.js. Server can pull back directly to your component.js. Server can also pull back to your helper.js. Okay, and helper can call another helper. Which is possible. You can see now you can reuse the helper function, right?
Yeah.
Controller can call helper can call within the helper, another helper, and controller also can call multiple helpers. Also call multiple helpers from the same controller action. Now, whatever you write a business logic, it need to go within the helper. In this way, you can reuse your functionalities. When the component controller will invoke, client controller will invoke, helper and server is fine, we are calling from a controller. But when you will call your client controllers, controller.js, whenever any user action occurs at a component level, it can be a button click or a mouse events or any standard events, that will invoke your controller.js. Okay?
Yeah.
That will invoke your controller.js. Now, what is the communication pattern that we will be following from the discussed thing? We will follow communication by using helpers always. First, what we're gonna write in component? Your HTML code. Okay, let me take a simple example. Here we have an example. Let's say Aura attributes. Aura attributes means variables for a lightning components. Okay. The syntax for Aura attributes is Aura colon attribute name equal to the name of an attribute. What is the name that I will say that? User name is my attribute, and we need to mention which type of data is this. Type is string, and if you want to provide any default, then you can provide any default, else you can provide blank. And description. What is description? Why we are referring this attribute. This is a username to authenticate. We are not doing any authentication. I am saying in the description just an introductory key sentence for the attribute, so that the other person can able to understand why we define these attributes in the component. Okay? Clear?
Yes, Deepak.
Yeah. Now let me go to the other level. Let's say we have a component library. This is also very important. If I go to developer.salesforce.com, If we go to developer.salesforce.com, try to use with the developer components also. If you go to the developer.salesforce.com, Lightning, and then you can see a component library, Lightning component library in the resources. Open it. And do not worry about Lightning web-based components. We are talking about Aura. Okay, Aura is a Lightning component. In this, you have different namespaces: Lightning, Aura, Force. The way we have Apex colon, right, in Visual Force pages. Apex colon page block table, Apex colon page
Yeah.
block. Yeah. The same way here, Lightning colon will come. Here, Aura colon will come. Now we are using attribute, right? If you clearly observe, Aura colon attribute, right?
Yeah.
Attributes are there in the Aura namespace. Here you can see attributes are named in the Aura namespace. Aura, where is attribute is not defined here, but attribute is there in the Aura namespace. And the other thing is that the way we have lightning, the same thing we have lightning colon accordion. Lightning colon accordion, lightning colon button, lightning colon accordion, everything is a standard. Now if I want to use a chord element, a chord type of structure, let me try. This is an sample component to explain the communication types. So as we have discussed, this is app postable, nothing but your tab, right? Lightning component tab. That's what we created this. So what we can go to the setup. We can go to the setup. How to create a new custom tabs? How to create a new custom tabs? Tabs. Tabs. And then here lightning component tabs. Demo 50 and component is that CMP examples. Component examples. You need to mention your tab style and then next. Default on I'm making it, tab default on, tab hidden and default off, right? We are making as a default on. Now I'll go and check for that component. CMP examples, right? We have the component is right here. And this is coming as a something weird, right? It is not matching the existing one. We have a blue background and this is coming, this is not clearly. How can you make this as a proper one? See, now we need to inspect elements. If you want to apply a style, where is this one? Dev. Okay, here it is. Let's say background.
Oh, we
White.
can change from here.
No, this is a sample. Here you can't change. Here we can edit everything and we can assign as a CSS style. So we have a background color. I need to know my text color also. Now I need to say text color. Sorry, only color is the format. Color red, and we have font size. Better 1.0 em means 1.5 1.0 em means in the current display only. Better not to use pixels nowadays. Generally we will say right 24px. This is what we use, right? Generally this is how the style will go. Even you can see px. But the recommendation for Salesforce side is 1.0 EMs. EMs means 1.0 is the current EM. I mean, whatever display you are seeing in the browser, it's a 1.0. Now, if I go to the big displays, right, the screen size will be big. Automatically, font need to increase its size, right?
Yeah.
So that way, it helps you to maintain the same strategy. I mean, if I am going with a 74-inch screen, the text need to be displayed little bigger. If it is displayed same thing, it will not gonna visible to your eye. If it is one, the default size, font style of a that monitor will come up. Now if I want to increase anything, 1.5 em. Now it is increasing, right?
Yeah.
The same thing will happen into the big screen also. 1.5 of the current display is nothing but a current display into 1.5 em. You are not fixing anything, it's dynamically multiplies. Okay.
Yep.
Font style. Unset. Word break. Break word. Now this is my style. What I need to do, I need to copy all this. I need to copy all this, and I need to go to style sheets, and I need to go to style sheets. Let's say I'm going to style. Click on style, it will open up. For every style, you need to mention dot this. This is mandatory. Dot this. Dot what I can say that head. Head is my class. Okay, this is my class name. Paste. Why it is not applied? The problem, we mentioned dot head class, but whatever the class we are loading, we are not applied for component head, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I'm just remove this. Save. Refresh. Still it is not applied. So we need to change little settings. Go to setup. This is for a cache. Lightning works more with a cache, so better we'll remove that session management. Session settings. Here we have like a pre-cache option available. Enable non-setup, not this one. Require token for login. Enable secure and persist browser cache to improve this. We need to remove this. Only for developer environment, not for a user productions.
Yep.
Now if I remove, automatically it will load. Now you can see. Still it is not applied. Why the hell this is not applied? Oh, okay. Start. Components. Let's go with the dot this, dot head, and I'm saying this is a text, and all I need to pass my class name into a dev tag. Here, if I define my dev class, head is my dev class. What happened, buddy? Why you are not working? There is any issue with the CSS? Sorry, there is some issue I think with the lightning. Even yesterday, not yesterday, day before yesterday, I find this one. It is not taking the first development. It is skipping it.
Okay.
Actually, yesterday also I had same issue when I'm writing my CSS. That time the first development is not accepting any classes.
So can't we include class in the aura attribute?
Class here.
Yeah.
Which class? CSS class.
Yes, CSS
No,
class.
you can't. Aura attributes is only for condition and I mean input variable. CSS is not an input variable here.
Okay.
You can't use that. I mean, you can't, not only here, anywhere you can't use your CSS class as a inputs. But here you can do like this. Aura attribute name equal to head style type equal to string and FAULT default equal to, let's say description is optional. You can say the control X default value is head, okay, and then you
Yeah.
can pass your dynamically your CSS style here v dot. You need to refer v dot if you want to access your attributes. Say this is how it's possible. So dynamically it will allows change. Even it
Okay.
will apply the same style, but you need to hardcode the class within the development.
Yep. Got you.
Okay. Now let's say this is like a SLDS format. This is a you are using CSS, right?
Yeah.
Now we don't want to use CSS. We have another called Lightning card. We have cards available. I know the components, so I'm searching so quickly. But if you start writing, you need to go through the components, whatever the component. We have a component called Lightning card. Okay,
Yeah.
Lightning card. I'm taking it and closing it, unclosing it. So the same thing. What I'll do. This is an sample CMP component details. Here I can see all the best. Now you can see I didn't write any single line of CSS here, right? But
Yeah.
you can see how nice it is looking now. Let's say if I had a BR tag here, if I had a BR, so it will give a little space for you to understand. Now you can see how nice it is looking. More than this, we have a title, we have a footer, and we have a content, right?
Yes.
This is looking good. So if I want to perform some actions, here I need to add any buttons like a footer. So this is a page called footer. You can give your titles. And this is a sample component. So if I want to pass my input add values, if I pass my input values, we have a lightning input. We have a lightning input. Lightning input. Here we have input date, we have input text, we also have a time input, text input. Let me say text input. Generally we use this, not everything. This is a label is called user name. Label is username. Please username is case sensitive. Username is case sensitive. Now we got here username is, if I type something, then that placeholder will go off, right?
Yeah.
Now, whenever there is any input field, which events we have here? In Visual Force also we have mouse event, right?
Yes.
So let's say on chain. on change on change equal to, now on change is a event which will call my controller.js, which will call my controller.js. Okay,
JS. Yep.
username change is my method. Now let me say alert. Hey, I'm just saying hey. How to call your attributes? You can call your attributes using v dot, right? Attributes with v dot name of an attribute, right?
Yep.
Here you can use controller, because of controller you need to use c dot. You need to use c dot.
C
For
dot.
attributes within the HTML, it's a v dot, and if it is a controller or a server actions, it is c dot. Okay.
Yeah.
In Salesforce Visual Force page, we used to give ID equal to FM form, right?
Yeah.
Here you have to use Aura colon ID is the syntax for IDs.
Okay.
Aura colon IDs.
ID.
Now, whenever I change my input, automatically hey will print now. Hey will print, okay? Now let's
Yep.
say refresh. We need to refresh component again and again because it's a every time we need to load the fresh data. Let's say now there is a change, you can see, right?
Yes.
So it
So
means
is
that,
that text box
yeah,
thing
it's a input text box.
can I mean like
Sorry.
can we change the width and size of the text box?
Okay, you need to change the size, right?
Yeah.
So let's say here you can say lightning layout, and we have lightning layout item. Oh, sorry, I didn't remember that layout item. Layout item. Yes. Here it has some around small size attribute. Here, lightning layout items with size attribute. The maximum you don't want to write anything, everything is readily available.
Okay.
Now, actually, one screen size is 12 elements. One screen size is 12. Let's say 12. Save. This is the actual development. I mean, till now, whatever you are seeing, that will only come. There will be no changes. Because the one screen size generally says 12 dev elements. Here we are using 12 is the dev element size. If I say 4, now I am saying less than off. 6 is the off, but here I am saying 4.
Okay.
Right? You
Yeah.
got it?
Yes.
If I say even still 3, then it will reduce. You don't want to write anything, it's everything is available.
Yeah.
But you need to know what are the standard commands, that you need to go through the documents only. That way, then only you can able to remember.
Yeah.
So this is my input, right?
Yes.
Now, how to read a data here? How to read it? Whatever data I'll read, I'll assign to the output attributes of output. Let's say attribute name equal to username value type equal to string. So you can see here I had a description, here I had a default, here I didn't had both, right?
Yeah.
So it means that default and description are optional to define your attributes. Default and description is an option, but name and type is the required tags that you need to maintain for a attributes. Now this is a layout item. Now I'll say layout item 3. I'll copy this and I'll paste within the seg This is, I'll say that 3 plus 9 is 12, right?
Yep.
I'll say, here I can say username provided by you is username provided by you is, and you need to refer your this one v dot, this is the username. Okay,
Yep.
now if I refresh, this is not looking good, this is not at all looking good, right?
Yes.
Now what I can do here, what I have to do here, I need to load this component, I need to load this page only if I entered my username, else I don't want to load. So what we can say, copy, we have a condition called aura if, we have a condition called aura if is true equal to v dot valid not equal to null. Okay. So what
Yeah.
happens if it is not equal to null, then only this will load, then only this will load. Say. Now you can see now which is not loaded, right? Because it is null. Now whatever I do a change here, I need to assign to, whatever I do a change, I need to assign to here. How to read a data? Reading an value from attribute. Reading a value from attribute. Now the question is that, are we assigning any attribute? Here we can say value equal to, here you can assign your attribute saying that username. You can assign this. You can v dot assign this. Now if I refresh, whatever I enter now, it will assigning directly to usernames. Now I'll print here. I'll print here only. Okay, in top section I'm printing v dot attribute name username. Default is that, default is blank, right?
Yeah.
Now if I type whatever I want, if I type anything, it will need to update here. Next to stars, it will need to update. Let's say, oh, it is updating. Here you can see.
Oh yeah. So it's not updating to database, right? It's just writing there.
Nothing will update to database. You need to commit using server always.
Okay.
It's a user experience. This is a user experience that what we are doing here.
Okay.
How synchronously it is updating. See, whatever I'm typing, instantly it is taking up, right?
Yes.
No, it means that we had a value. Whatever we are entering, it is actually storing into username, right?
Yeah.
Reading an attribute values is very easy. So you need to define a variable called var you underscore name equal to component got get component, whatever attribute. If I use component, then you need to use component. If I use C, then I need to use C only. Okay, it is based upon the one what you declared. Okay,
Yeah.
component,
Just arguments, right?
yeah, component dot get v dot your attribute name, v dot your attribute name. Let's say if, now what is the output that we are using? Username valid, right?
Yeah.
Now you need to assign whatever you are reading here, you need to assign back to your attribute. So for that, component dot set, component dot set v dot your valid username comma your username. So what happens? Whatever value you are getting, it will assign to the username value. Okay?
Yeah.
Now we'll see. What happened? It is not assigning. One minute here. Why this is not assigning? Interesting. Why? Before the refresh problem. Chha.
Okay. Oh, we did not refresh.
Oh. Now you can see my user name, right?
Yeah.
Here you are getting. But the problem here is that just because of this assignment and reassignment, we are using like a attributes, right? We are using two attributes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not happy with this. I'm not really happy with this. So let me have the other way of doing it. Let me have the other way of doing it. Let's say lighting component details using attributes. This is using attributes. Now I don't want to use attributes unnecessarily, where I can able to manage without attribute. Let's see. Without using attributes. Now I'll write without using attribute. I don't define my value. I don't define my value. Here is span. Aura ID equal to value user. Hey Google, turn on MacBook.
You got it. Turning on the MacBook.
So without using attribute, whatever I type here, it will need to update here. Whatever I type here, it need to update here. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go back. Here on change, I am using like username change. If I want to write another method, I need to use comma. What we need to use? We need to use comma.
Yeah.
Function component comma event comma helper. Now how to read a data? We need to read a data based on IDs now, right?
Yeah.
Without.
So in JavaScript, always we have to use a method name colon function.
Not in JavaScript. In Lightning controllers, you need to use like this.
Okay.
In the normal way, you need to write function space.
Function.
Yeah. In this case, it's a different.
Okay.
Only for Lightning development. It is not generic Java is function and then name of a method, but this is different. I mean, method name colon function of.
Okay.
Reading a values from the CMP using Aura IDs. We need to write data using Aura IDs. How to read a data? U underscore name equal to component dot find. You need to find the value first. Okay. What you need to find? You need to find the ID of an element using ID. Okay, we are using IDs to find. In that, what I need? Dot get v dot value. That's it. Dot get v dot value. So first I need to find a component and then I need to write dot get v dot value. So when I say get v dot value, it will give a value of that component. Okay, input field.
Yeah.
How to set a value? Component dot set. Sorry, component dot find. We need to write find first again. How to find? Here, valid user. Valid user. Now here you will be having some surprise. V dot value colon uname. Can I use v dot value? Because there is no value for a span element, right?
Yeah.
There is no value for a span element. Let me refresh it. What happened? It is not updating, right? There is no value
Yeah.
for a span element, so we need to use output text output field. Output text. This is one way of writing, okay? Output text is a one way of writing. What is the other way of writing? Output text is one way of writing. Let's say aura ID valid user -1. Here you don't have a text, so I am just removing it. Here you can say component valid user -1. This is one way of writing it. This is one way. But I wanted to pass even for its span elements. Now this is coming from an output text, right?
Yeah.
Now how to use my span elements? So to pass any span elements, we have an option called component.find. This one inner HTML equal to u underscore name. Because it's a span elements, you need to pass inner HTML. Now what I am saying, there is error. So no error objects available, script error static. There is a script error it is showing. So let me do some Google search. How to pass inner HTML to span in controller.js. Document.get element by ID. Okay. Get element. What is document.get element by ID? Valid user. And then list of domain equal to this is fan tag colon your you underscore name plus single quote br semicolon. Refresh. Why the hell? Which is possible right now. Family get written value family dot line. J list of family. Document dot get element ID family list. One minute. Document dot get element per ID correct only. Document dot get element per ID console dot log start list list count inspect console clear refresh. Acha, this is none. Why none is presented? Document dot get element. I think this is different. Yeah, this is document dot get element ID is null. Element ID valid user is not. Here is saying family list. There is no family list only. This is not a reference. So you are assigning everything. Building it is never says that unless if you have left the part of it. think I have to mix it something. Change. But this itself is a null. How does it really matter whether it is having a data or not?